I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're uncovering a daring and thought-provoking perspective on the origins of Christianity. We're talking to a terrific author. His name is Barry Leonardini, and he has penned a powerful book. It is called Jesus and Peter, A Different View of Christ and His Catholic Church. This provocative narrative reimagines Jesus not as a divine figure, but a man whose message was co-opted by political agendas, most notably by his ambitious apostle Peter, blending theology, history, and a screenplay-worthy storyline. This book challenges long-held beliefs with sharp insight and fearless storytelling. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Mainspring Books for helping us put him in the spotlight today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below the interview. And be sure to download the Spotlight Network TV app, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Barry, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
It's a pleasure. I'm very happy to be here with you.
Great to have you on the show, my friend. This is quite a powerful book, very, very unique, very, very original. How did you come up with the idea?
It just occurred to me. I was a Christian from the get-go. Then all of a sudden, over the years, things just didn't seem to match up. The thing that really sealed it was the Council of Nicaea, 400 years after Christ had passed away, that the Bible was written. So it seems to me to be a little presumptuous that I would take everything without thinking about it. And I thought about it. And I came up with my own ideas. I was taught by the Jesuits, and they're hard taskmasters, and they know their stuff, and they don't fool around. I never was approached by them either, put it that away, for any other things. But I liked them. I went to St. Ignatius. I went to the University of San Francisco, which is also Jesuit run. And I studied classical Greek language and history, Latin language. And so I was an honor student. But the thing I got out of all that was the history of Europe and what started as what Christ put forward was an idea of charity, that we have to help people. Well, people that I know, the human race as I know it, people hear what they want to hear. And Christ's message on charity morphed into a charity as a right. And that's where we get the different political forks in the road as we all get inundated day to day. But here we are, trying to make sense of everything. And my view is get as much information as you can and be your own thought maker. Make your own decisions. With due respect with everybody.
Without a doubt. Do you see Jesus more as a spiritual teacher or a misunderstood political figure?
Both. He reminds me, the first thing that comes to mind when I say Jesus, I think of UC Berkeley during the 1960 riots. That's just the way it is. They get the microphone and they get hooked on it, and they went from simple messages to rights. Once you start talking about rights, you're talking about, I'll meet you in the streets. And that's what happened. I was called up. I was a member of the National Guard. I went to Watts to do 24-hour. I was there for about a week, assisting the Los Angeles Police Department on trying to keeping a lid on everything. And they do a hell of a job. So I was there physically and mentally, and I've thought about it, never went away. So it's Jesus. I would say he was naive. Probably his glaring trait was naive, but I think he also had to be charming. If he's going to talk to humans, he's got to speak their language. He's got to have an English, a body English. What's he look like? The polymath Leibniz, the guy that was in controversy with Newton on calculus, thought that his father was actually a Roman legion who had married a local. And so obviously that's controversial. It's not a topical subject you'd get at the dinner table, but that's one idea.
Yeah.
But in put it in a nutshell, I think he was charming but naive. And then the people who make money, like his Peter, reminds me of Mel Brooks or Zero Mostel from the producers. And all they ever said was, "Don't put money into the show." But they knew how to manipulate Jesus, and Jesus was their front man. And what went on behind the scenes, God only knows,
Yeah.
literally.
The impact of Jesus is unmistakable, though. I mean, 2,000 years after his death, his crucifixion, he is the central figure of religion to a large number of people in this world. And the other group that is not a follower of Jesus has been impacted by his teachings, no doubt, as well.
No question about it. But this brings the fact up that in this little small town in the Middle East called Jerusalem, you have a 600-year later challenge to Christianity in Islam, where Muhammad gets carried away, levitated up to meet Allah, something like that.
Yeah.
And the idea that you've got two leaders and they're both within blocks of each other in Jerusalem, and it's 600 years spread. But what are the odds of two leaders of one or two religions? They both co-opt as parts of it. How does that work? Where you get the odds of two leaders of the two prophets? Even Muhammad called Jesus a prophet, and the Islam was genuine in his respect for Jesus, but it's the people behind Muhammad and behind Jesus that are the political. And once you get involved in politics, it's a loose horse.
Mm. Do you feel Jesus thought he was the Son of God? Do you feel Jesus is the Son of God? Do you feel he was just a charismatic leader? Tell us a little bit about your thoughts, your research, and your opinions.
I have no knowledge for sure, but it's been my experience that the only thing new under the sun is the date and the names of the people who get involved. And everybody gets involved that gets involved in politics, either directly or tangentially, usually gets corrupted. And it takes a huge, let's put it this way. The reason that Christ himself was crucified, to me, means he was probably telling the truth, or he thought he was telling the truth. But like I said, the Council of Nicaea, which is in Turkey, was written about the Bible 400 years after it was done. So you feel lucky, who wrote that story. Yeah. But I think in my gut, I think Jesus was genuine, just naive.
Yeah. What role did Rome and Emperor Nero play in shaping early Christianity, according to your research?
Well, they did a marriage of not only convenience but of political opportunity. It's much like our country today, where you have, we kind of balkanized the United States, where different states and different locales and cities have taken on their own ideas on how they're going to run things and what's right and what's wrong. So I would think that the Nero, and before Nero, Tiberius, they were just like, well, actually, the first pope of the Christian religion was Peter himself, but that was the last Jewish pope. All the rest of the popes coming from Rome, all roads lead to Rome, which is also comes into play. lost my train of thought there.
Okay, no worries, no worries. Let me
You
ask
can
you,
go ahead.
I was going to ask you, what do you hope readers take away from your book?
And I that he was a man, that he was genuine. But I think the people that have screwed it up are largely the Roman Catholic Church, which was very soon after Peter was crucified. It was all taken over by the top Italian politicians and ran it their way on a basis of profit first, profit and influence to begin with, as the clear target.
Don't you think that's kind of true of almost all organizations?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what this book is, a melodrama. My characters in the book, they're all, you get your own matchups in today's circa, but they're all the same. Very few people that are usually genuine people are either in jail or they've been assassinated. That's then and now. But my book is, here's the nutshell. My book's entertaining.
Yeah.
I want people to speak the language that they do every day, and that's how I spoke to my readership.
Yeah.
We're speaking a natural language in a conversational tone, and it's got to be entertaining. Otherwise, nobody's going to read it.
Exactly. Have you envisioned this as a film?
Well, that's why I did the screenplay. I've got considerable recognition on the screenplay by a great screenwriter, Anthony Giulianti. Guy's got a sense of humor. When I sent the book up, I mean, we went back and forth, and we're on the same page. Nobody wants to be a finger wag at them. They want to enjoy a story. Frank Capra once said, if you want to entertain people, make them laugh.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to educate people, make them laugh, make people feel
Open them up.
make people feel comfortable. Exactly. Open them up without a doubt. Well, wonderful work on this book. The name of the book is Jesus and Peter, A Different View of Christ and His Catholic Church. It is a provocative narrative that reimagines Jesus not as a divine figure, but a man whose message was co-opted by political agendas, most notably by his ambitious apostle Peter. Blending theology, history, and a screenplay-worthy storyline, the author challenges long-held beliefs with sharp insight, fearless storytelling, and humorous wit. Barry, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
I enjoyed it thoroughly. Nice meeting you, Logan.
Nice meeting you as well, sir. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time, this time. Until next time on Spotlight.